Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Battle Talk. I am Don Battlehawk, and today I am wearing a Victory Monday shirt. Why this shirt specifically? Because this is probably my most beat up, used thrift store. I got a grease stain on it, Battlehawk shirt, and I will be cooking quite a bit today. Gonna make a roast in the barbecue for the holiday. By the way, happy holiday. It is Memorial Day. It is the day that we set aside to honor all of those who have fallen in the pursuit of liberty, specifically in the United States of America. And today, to honor Victory Monday, I am drinking out of my game day cup that survived the dishwasher last night. It is not supposed to be washed in the dishwasher. I'm going to have a conversation with someone about that. This episode is Battlehawks at Gamblers Week 9 recap. After the St. Louis Battlehawks got their beeps handed to them in a Week 8 loss to the 2 and 5 Gamblers, at the Battle Dome, I didn't know what to expect in Week 9. I know my personal expectations were that they would bounce back and get the victory, but that was something that I didn't even know could be a reality once the game started. The first quarter, St. Louis 0, Houston 6. The Gamblers struck first with a touchdown, but an underlying hope remained when they missed the kick on the point after touchdown. Then Ahmad missed a three-pointer for the Battlehawks, 43 yards. Not a great first quarter for either team, but clearly better for the Gamblers. Let's look at the second quarter, St. Louis 10, Houston 3. The second quarter was better for St. Louis, but not until the final 2 minutes. Ahmed got us on the scoreboard with a field goal, but the Gamblers got one of their own. I prepped my Ben Affleck smoking a cigarette with a Battlehawks shirt meme for the halftime, certain that I was going to have to use it. With seconds left in the half, the Battlehawks did what they've failed to do so often this season. They managed to score a touchdown in the final seconds, and the point after touchdown was good. No meme was posted for the half. St. Louis was in the lead, 10-9. If you want to see my halftime report, go ahead and follow me at Don Battlehawk on X, where you can view my halftime report. Let's look at the third quarter. St. Louis 8, Houston 6. St. Louis got it first in the third. No score on that drive. Houston scored a touchdown. Failed with the two-point conversion. St. Louis answered with a touchdown and a good two-point conversion. 18-15, the good guys. All right. The Battlehawks D really came out in the fourth, which is what we're going to talk about right now. St. Louis 3, Houston nothing. All right. The O didn't score, but kept the ball, and that's just as good. If they can keep the ball on the offense and run the clock down, and the other team is prevented from scoring, that's just as good as scoring touchdowns when you're already in the lead. And that was good enough for the win. Game leaders, Perez, 26 out of 39 with 239 yards. I believe that's 2 games in a row plus 200. I think he had 300 last week when it comes to yards. Howard rocked with 55 yards. McBride was the ride with 6 receptions and 76 yards. Perez did throw a pick and a touchdown. He rushed for 18, and that was nice to see. Howard, 55 yards, was paramount to the win. James, with 31 yards and a touchdown, was, as always, great. Butler with 60 yards and a touchdown. Pearson 49 yards and extended possession with many of those yards, and Bostic with 19 yards, and he did the same. Sal Cannella, 1 reception for 3 yards. Here are my thoughts on his presence in the field. Was more psychological than anything else. Perez uses everyone, and they probably thought he would go to Cannella more. On the D, Dean with the sack, 1. Pita with the sack, 0.5. Bentley with the sack, 1. Harris with the sack, 1. And Fresh with the sack, 0.5. That's the stuff that wins games. When the quarterback can't do what the quarterback wants to do because he's on the ground. Okay? Ajamodia with an interception, pivotal. Both Dean and Williams forced fumbles, and that was important. Total tackling, Dean with 5, Williams with 4, Pita with 3. There's that name again. Ajamodia, I'm getting that so wrong, and I'm so sorry, with 3. All but 2 of our defense got in on the tackle pool. But even those that didn't get on the tackle pool put pressure when it mattered and how it mattered. For example, Feeney, right? Lots of pressure. Got a penalty called in him because of one of those pressures. But that pressure matters. It matters. The Battlehawks played a good game, but it wasn't offensively dominating. Something wise like during week 5 versus Orlando. That was more of an offensive dominating win for the Battlehawks. Deckers started the game for the Gamblers, but I guess he's not 100% because he was out. He was pulled. Plummel? I don't even know if I spelled his name correct. Was put in and with 11 out of 21 with 131 yards with no touchdowns. A factor in our win. That interception he threw, it really helped. Whenever you get the ball out of their hands, it's harder for them to score, if you know what I mean. All right, Burns produced well for Houston with an interception as well. Now, is it Lauren got their sack? You know, the problem is that I write quickly. And then I don't know what I wrote. It's a problem, especially when I'm teaching. Week 10 thoughts. Will we rest Perez and play Frost? Some of the game versus the Renegades. That's an important question. Week 10 of 2025, we had something to prove in DC by wanting to earn the home field advantage in the playoffs because scheduling just gave it to us. So we wanted to go in and we wanted to get that win. This year, that's not the case. The Battlehawks have shown they can win at home and away. I just want the playoff win. I don't care where it is, to be quite honest with you, as long as we get the win. And I'm comfortable with that because the Battlehawks are 3-1 at home and 3-2 away. So they're in a good position to produce a win no matter where they play, unless we're worried that rest will hurt Perez somehow. I think Frost gets some time in week 10, given we clinched. Once again, it's great that we clinched with a win and we didn't back into it because someone else lost or someone else won against the team that they lost against. Therefore, we back in. But, you know, if you're in, you're in. But I'm just happy it happened this way. A win against Dallas with a combination of QBs, or even just Frost, would be a good sign for depth going in to the postseason. Folks, I am excited I am thrilled. We have as good a chance as anyone in the postseason pool. If it's Orlando, we have beaten them. Frost was the QB for that game. We have beaten DC once. And yes, we took an L with them once. If the next team one of the other teams that we have to face in the postseason or the championship, should we make it, is or are the Kings or Birmingham, I think that we have a good chance, as good of a chance as we have ever had as a team, to both win a playoff game and be contenders and potentially even bring home the championship to St. Louis. So, what's going to happen? As Doc said to Marty, the future is unwritten. So we don't know. But what needs to happen is whoever plays in week 10, they need to give it their all. We need, even if we're resting starters, we need to step it up. And our second string or whatever needs to be elite. They need to show that when it comes time for the actual playoffs and the championship game, should we make it, that they can be counted on. And I know that they can. I know they all have the skills that are necessary. And I believe wholeheartedly that no matter who we play at QB in week 10 and who ends up playing, no matter what circumstances bring about, at the playoffs and the championship, that we have quarterbacks that have shown, two quarterbacks on our team in Perez and Frost, that have shown that they can win throughout this season. And that no matter what happens going into the championship, going into the playoffs, going into whatever we're going into, that we have a chance to prove that call is indeed the law. I am Don Battlehawk. This has been Battle Talk. And I hope you have a good Memorial Day. I will see you probably in about 2 days, unless I get froggy tomorrow.